Hello everyone, this is Leimomi Keliikuli, intuitive soul alignment coach here. So today I wanted to share something that has kind of basically, been on my mind, and I wanted to share from a bigger perspective of what that all truly means, and also how is that related for you also. So first of all, I have to share with you a bit about my journey. If you're kind of new to what I'm talking about, or just like new in general about this way of spirituality and living in alignment to your spiritual nature. So if you're just jumping on in, just say hello, just so I know you're there. And I wanted to start from the very beginning about true spiritual enlightenment and spiritual embodiment, and what that truly means in terms of really aligning to your real purposeful work. So I guess I will start with why I decided to take this new stance and this new way of alignment. So I guess it's been about a couple of weeks now, and just a little while ago, I kind of had this very deep conversation. I've been having really deep conversations with myself. And by the way, it never goes away. You're just, you're always evolving. But this was really, really big for me to acknowledge, because I realized it went much deeper into things about what spirituality is. And if you are doing spiritual work, you're a coach, you're intuitive, you're a healer, this is a message for you. So I have to say that the thing that probably blocks us the most is really getting truly in alignment as being totally in your sovereignty. And I think this is what Source is asking us to do right now. Every time when I check into what it is that humanity wants, and what it is that's at next level, or that's in the collective, or things that are in my sphere right now. And what I noticed, the common theme that's going on right now is, number one is we are allowing the outside of ourselves, the outside world, to really dictate everything that we share and what we do. And it really, really does stem from this idea that we are not truly capable of being a spiritual person. And being spiritual actually truly means that you are a teacher of Source and God. Through you, your unique ray of light, your unique self-expression, it's coming through you, and it's coming out of you. And what I think we're doing from a bigger perspective of humanity is we're suppressing our sovereignty. We're suppressing our ability to self-express what is truth of what we want to create, right? That's coming from our deep within our heart space, that we want to create not just all about peace in the world, but we just really, really want to truly be happy. And so I was kind of, I've been over the past couple of weeks, really rethinking about what makes me truly happy. And every time when I went within, it was always the same thing, which was, well, I just, want other people to impact more, and to help all these new leaders to really step into their leadership. On an outside circumstance, that's kind of what I love doing. But underneath the why I actually do what I want to do now is because I truly want to bring out this new kind of higher level of consciousness, and speaking from the divine message for humanity. And I think all this time. Even though I'm already, many people already know what I share about soul alignment. Um, but I realized like I wasn't allowing myself to expand beyond just only entrepreneurs or talking about business alignment. And that doesn't really fully make me happy. Um, because I know business is money and sex, and it's related to how you have an interconnection with your unique expression, right? And so everybody's struggling with this idea of their business needs to look like, making a lot of money or making these kind of like physical circumstances, right? That makes us feel fulfilled in some way, right? Because even though you've got the car, you've got all of these kind of possessions energetically and physically, if that's what you have now, they really don't mean anything unless they have a true why, right? A true meaning of why you possess these things. It has a real meaning behind it. And I think everything that is surrounding us right now, we actually have not like gotten to a place where we actually feel that much gratitude for what we have, and including all the things that we don't want too. We actually also need to be very grateful for the fact that there are things that we just, we energetically have not allowed in our life, right? This lack of money, lack of whatever, right? So I kind of had to be honest with myself because, money stopped flowing for me, because me and my husband had a lot of our old stuff come up. And it made me sit down and think, well, even though I had like all this money flowing in, what really actually makes me the most happy? It had a lot to do with me actually stepping further beyond into my spiritual nature even further than I am now. So many people already think I'm already further, but like I'm talking about really being truly a priestess, multidimensional, and fully being the embodiment of Source. Now, one thing you need to know is that being Source actually, on a physical level, you would look like someone like Buddha, or look like Jesus, or you would look like somebody that fully embodies love, divine love, and like this inner silent power, right? The masculine and the feminine are very, very, it's very like integrated, right? So I realized that if I am to get to even that bigger point, that means that I have to make an even bigger impact, than what I'm doing right now. So that means that actually I have to let my spirituality just unleash itself, because I actually have been doing it recently. I realized that in my talks and everything I shared, I actually talked a lot about this new level of spirituality, but I wasn't really talking from a space of like me saying that I can bring out that truth like that far. And it actually came from why I haven't fully stepped into it actually came from the time when I was in this spiritual group. So many of you know my story already, that I was part of a spiritual group that I basically was like a psychic monk. So everything that I possessed was not mine, and it was for the group. It was for the better whole of humanity, right? Where I had to serve, work 7 days a week, get only an $1,800 salary like per month, like that kind of like lack I actually had to experience. Where if you grow your spirituality, then that means that you have no money or possession or any form of abundance at a physical level. And I have to tell you, like, that is not truth. I believe fully that if you are spiritually, psychically aware and multidimensional, money and everything can have that all, right? All at the same time. And what I was experiencing a block at that moment, that moment about like, I've grown myself financially, and now that I'm expanding further into my spirituality, I had to deal with the fact that like I blocked myself from actually receiving more levels of abundance because I had that belief, again, that if I go very spiritual, that I will have no money coming in. So, basically created that circumstance. And also the same for my husband about, him doing his true purpose for work, that if he grows also more spiritually, that we won't have, the financial abundance too at the same time. And what happened was we became very separate from each other energetically because a part of him wanted to live the old indigenous way, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that, where you live off the land and you live, consciously with a community where you don't need any money at all, right? There are going to be two different kind of realities in the 5-dimensional aspects as we move into that there will be the indigenous type of people who live off the land and they don't use money, right? But there are also going to be all of the other higher dimensional beings who are multidimensional, where they can have a higher aspect of allowing abundance of money, of spirituality, of like everything all integrated into their 5th dimensional nature. And so I'm seeing that there's a split between those two kind of realities, and we are thinking that we need to look in a certain way in our spiritual nature, right? That we have to do the old way of the indigenous ways, the way that we lived off the land and all that kind of stuff, right? Or we actually truly want to embody all of that, but still have the personal self-expression that you are leaving a mark and imprint into the world. And to me, that is growing at a level of Buddha, transforming every level of your being, that you can have every form of abundance on top of, right, this abilities, these superpowers. So I really had to dig deep in myself, and I wrote this all out. I was processing it, and then I came to this realization that it's a time for us to really align to what is truth for us, what is real truth for us. And for me, it had a lot to do with me being able to open even bigger spiritually about what I feel is a divine self-expression coming through me through Source. And in order for me to do that, I need to change my audience again. I went through this, a couple months ago, and it was very, very hard for me because I had to talk from a whole different space. But now I realize that I cannot not talk to only spiritual people or only entrepreneurs. Like, I have to allow a bigger scale of the impact that I want to create, which is for all humanity to see in a whole new light. And what it came down to for me was that I was not accepting my sovereignty. I was not accepting what I truly wanted to express that was coming out as a full-on expression, but at the same time, this is where your master genius comes through. It's unfiltered, it's real, it's raw, it's like, this is what it is. This is what us as humanity needs to break through and see the illusion. This is what true soul-aligned leadership is that it's aligned to your unique divine self-expression. And when you get to this point in your evolution, you're going to understand exactly what I'm talking about. That it doesn't matter in what form this self-expression comes through, as long as you're able to capture it and it makes a bigger impact and it's imprinted like for humanity. So that's what a true leader, spiritual teacher is. No matter what you do in your life, in your business, even if you talk about business or marketing or, whatever your niche is, we are naturally teachers, healers, and spiritual. So if we don't allow all of those aspects to be expressed, then the truth of like what your self-expression is coming through, it's not actually coming from source. It's not coming out from the voice of source. And the only way you can do that is come back into your sovereignty, to realize that this self-expression is not me. It's coming directly from the voice of source. And I'm dealing with that for sure. Like, everything that's coming out through me right now is coming through source, but I haven't been able to integrate it far enough into my being because of all of these limiting beliefs that I had about what spirituality is, what a spiritual teacher should look like, and what a spiritual teacher would look like who makes a lot of money. So I can't tell you just how big this is for me to actually start to announce this new change, because I realized it stemmed from my old teacher, and this idea that because so-called I achieved this level of spirituality, then everybody else under me needs to follow all the rules that I've created, right? And that's what I was hitting my head against all this time, was that I wasn't bringing out my full sovereignty, my unique self-expression, because I thought like I needed to be a spiritual teacher or leader in a certain capacity, But the real truth of the matter is, no matter what that glass ceiling is for you, or for your spirituality, it's all unfiltered. You really don't care about the self-expression. It's coming directly out of love, out of truth and love and wisdom. This is a higher level of service. And when you get to this level that I'm talking about, the only way that you can actually bring that alignment for yourself, right? And why it's time for you to align your divine self-expression and how to do this is really comes from, number one, coming into your sovereignty and being a sovereign being. And when I mean that, I mean like truly choosing your real reality that you want to embody. So for me, it has a lot to do with my stepping into myself as a spiritual teacher and a leader. But maybe for you, that is like truly stepping into yourself as a business coach, if that's what drives you. But I couldn't see that at the moment, because I was trying to fit, I was trying to fit myself in a box that I was a business coach. But what I really, really want to self-express is so much more beyond business and beyond into a galactic sense, right? Like a spirit, or like a higher sense of spirituality. And that is what needs to come through you right now, and also for me. This is why I'm sharing this message. And that's the first step, is realizing that you're choosing a certain way of being, of expression, a divine self-expression. The second thing is bringing out your radical kuleana. Like bringing out, in Hawaiian, kuleana means responsibility. So bringing out this huge change, by you being the change, and you taking responsibility for all that you are going to create from here on out. And that is a true leader. A leader is someone who takes responsibility for where they have failed, where they've done good, right? The betterment for all of the collective, but at the same time having this sense of self-love and divine love and connection to source, and allowing this part of yourself to kind of fall through, to come out, right? And then the third step is really stepping into your soul-aligned leadership, your unique blueprint, and bringing this out into humanity in a way that it imprints people to remember your voice and your self-expression. So, and it's not about being famous. It's actually really about, like, this is the truth of like what you share for everybody, and everybody knows your message, right? That's a very, very high level of expression and of service. So I hope that really helped everybody to see also from just what I'm sharing, what is aligned to you right now. What is it that you're not allowing yourself to fully bring out, that will allow you to bring out this leadership, that will allow you to bring out this kuleana, this responsibility, and bring out this sovereignty? Because it's time for us to take that stand and to create many, many people who will impact more just as much as you have. That we're not just here for someone to worship you, that we're not just somebody super special, but we are special in a sense of our divine self-expression, that unique self-expression. So don't be afraid to be vulnerable right now. I actually kind of challenge you to think about where you have failed your audience, and also kind of like what I say, in failing your unique self-expression, because it doesn't come through until you yourself brings out that truth and you step into that in a way where it's unique to you. So this is kind of my declaration for everybody, is to don't forget this part of your sovereignty, that to bring that out and to choose what kind of reality you're actually going to create right now. I want to create the reality where I'm multidimensional, that I allow every part of my being to be completely free to express 100% this unique voice, this voice of the universe, this sound of the universe, that I actually started when I was in the spiritual group, but I wasn't able to express it because I was suppressed by the teacher. So don't allow anybody outside of you, whether it's your friends or your family or whoever, to dictate what is sovereignty for you, right? What is truth to you, and what kind of leadership that you want to embody. And it feels really good. It feels really good to really say this right now, because I myself, I do have to say that I was not fully showing up the way I wanted to, which is way beyond the spirituality that I've been talking about so far. And so there's a part of me that, needs to forgive this part, that I allowed myself to be suppressed energetically still, from this ideal of what spirituality is supposed to look like and be, because spirituality is so much bigger than what you think of it right now, especially if you are, an intuitive and a healer, and you're an intuitive business coach, or whatever your type of forte is. Don't suppress it. Don't let anybody else energetically, and in the collective too, right, tell you how you're going to self-express. That's big, right? Don't ever let anybody to allow that freedom of your divine self-expression to limit your ability to impact and serve that you truly want to. I can't express that enough, right? Don't ever let anybody take that responsibility of freedom that you actually want. Because a piece of a true leader comes when you step into your sovereignty this way, and you say, no, I am spiritual, I am going to go beyond my spiritual nature, and I'm going to serve and leave an impact and imprint in this way of self-expression. Then even if you don't know what it is right now, that doesn't matter. This is the heart of your why. This is the heart of why you do and be what you are. And it's time for all of us to take that stance. So I guess with that, thank you, Tamara. With that, I'll end here. And I'm going to process this this weekend, because this is a really, really big moment for me, to not allow someone else's thoughts or feelings or emotions of what I need to become to stop me from being this unique ray of light, my unique bowl of light, for humanity. All right, I love you all, and I'll be talking to you all soon. Aloha.